everyone, I'm Andrew, your Stuttering Tech, and today is the full review of the OnePlus Nord N10 5G. And I must say, for a $300 budget phone, this is solid. I think OnePlus have a win-win-win with this phone right here. This is a really light phone, weighing only 190 grams or 6.7 ounce for those of you who may not be familiar with the metric unit system. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss the premium feel coming from the Rival 5G. But I do appreciate a light phone. If you're like me and you like laying in bed or on the couch watching video on your phone, then you will understand why. Let's take a look around the phone. And here we have the 6.49 inch LCD display. We have a punch hole camera in the front. Don't know how well you can see that. Let me turn the screen on. And I have a app that puts a ring, basically it's an energy ring, which shows you basically your battery percentage around the camera. And the face unlock works very well, as you can see there. I'm not even directly in front of the camera, and it unlocked. Now let's start with the left side of the phone. We have a volume rocker, and we have the SIM ejection tray right here. And this also takes a SIM and an SD card as well. Now I will say that I do miss everything being on just the right side, like the Poco F2 Pro and the Revel 5G. So my muscle memory is used to having which I think is practical, just having everything on one side. Now let's go to the top, and we have a mic right here and nothing else. On the right side, we have the power button, and that's it on the right side. On the bottom, we have the speaker, the bottom firing speaker grill right here, USB-C port, another mic, and a headphone jack, which is something that have seemed to be disappearing from flagship phones. And I think let's be honest, a lot of us don't use it. We are using Bluetooth these days, but it does come in handy. Like when, for instance, you're shooting a video on your phone and you want better audio, for instance, I'm using either a Rode Wireless Go or the Synco A1G1 or G1A1, and yeah, you can easily just put it into the headphone jack and have better audio, which is something that I think, which is why I love the headphone jacks on the phone. And yeah, and now on the back we have the fingerprint scanner, the 64 megapixel quad camera setup, the OnePlus logo, and the OnePlus branding on the bottom. And as you can see, the back is also fingerprint magnet, because of course it's plastic. Even if it was glass, glass phones tend to be fingerprint magnets as well. The display is really good. Colors look natural to my eyes, which is how I like it. This is not an AMOLED screen, but I do like that it's not oversaturated to the point where people's skin look yellow or red, which is something I've experienced on some other phones. The 90 Hz refresh rate makes scrolling and navigating through the UI smoother. Battery life has been amazing. The 4300 mAh battery has surprised me. I start my day at 4:50 a.m. When I get home from work around 2:30 p.m., I have anywhere from 60 to 75%, and by the time I'm ready for bed around 7:30 p.m., I'm left with around 23 to 43% depending on my usage. The phone charges super fast with the Warp Charge 30T. The lowest I've gotten this phone down to, as I mentioned before, is 23%, and it charged to 100 in no time. The speakers are nice to see on a phone at this price point. For $300, you're seeing stereo speakers. The speakers are loud and they keep you immersed in whatever content you're consuming. I haven't done much gaming, but I just started playing Shadow Legends on ultra high settings at 60 FPS. It played flawlessly. The phone does get hot, and you do feel it even through the case. If you have a case on your phone, which I do recommend.
Grab a gun and have some fun.
When it comes to the cameras, I am not an expert or anything, so I'll let you guys be the judge with some samples in a bit. But I do like what I get out of the cameras on this phone, especially the 64 megapixel main shooter. My favorite thing to do with this camera is shoot video. In the camera settings, you can choose your video resolution, and I chose 4K Cine at 30 FPS. I love shooting in this mode. This mode allows you to shoot in a wider format. Electronic image stabilization works even in 4K. By default, it takes pictures at 16 megapixels, but with just a tap, you can change it to 64 megapixel. 64 megapixel photo is more detailed but has less dynamic range. At least that's the message that pops up on screen when you switch to 64 megapixel. this phone is a really great phone, but it's not all good in the tech hood. There's some things about this phone that irritates me that might not be a big deal for you. First is the Wi-Fi. I mentioned this before. When I'm in the hospital, there's a lack of reception in certain areas. So I use voice over Wi-Fi to make and receive calls and texts. But it seems like on this phone, voice over Wi-Fi only works if there's phone reception. The second thing, which is not a big deal also, has to do with Wi-Fi again. If your Wi-Fi is on, but you're not connected to a Wi-Fi network, any app you're trying to use data with will tell you that there is no internet despite you having mobile data. Now the third thing is when it comes to the unlocking the phone. Now the phone has a fingerprint scanner in the back, and you also have face unlock. Now face unlock works very, very good. It's very fast, and I don't have any problems with that. Now the fingerprint scanner is fast and it works very well when it wants to. Sometimes when you try to unlock with the fingerprint scanner, it doesn't wake the phone up, and it does this a lot. I notice it does this a lot. With the recent update, it happens less than it did before the update, but it still happens. It's a problem that still persists. Now, who is this phone for? Because I know a lot of people will overlook this phone because it's made of plastic, and a lot of people tend to go more for the Samsungs and the Apples, the flagships. And despite that, I also know a lot of people who go for budget phones because they cannot justify buying a phone that costs more or the same as their monthly rent or mortgage or whatever the case may be. But a lot of people can't justify that, so they tend not to go for the flagship phones. And this is who this phone is for, or somebody who wants a secondary phone for work and don't want to get something expensive. Because I know I used to work in a factory, and I used to break my phones, even with a tempered glass screen protector, which I do recommend. But I worked in a factory where I hit a conveyor and shattered my screen, but the screen protector, the tempered glass, was fine. It didn't get damaged. But yes, I think this is for someone who is for anyone who's budget conscious, especially in the time we're going on, what's going on in the world right now. They're watching their money more closely, and this is who this phone is for. And even for anyone, I think, because even though it doesn't have the premium feel coming from the Revel 5G, because it's in the case right here, this is it. I still use this. I could put my SIM right back into this phone, but I just love it. I love the lightweight, especially when I'm at work. It's not weighing down my pockets, but I really love this phone, and I think anyone would be happy with this phone. And there's a lot to like about it. The face unlock, despite the issues with the fingerprint scanner, it still works very, very well. Battery life is really great in this, and it handles games very well. Now, I'm not really a gamer, so playing a lot of high-end games, maybe PUBG, stuff like that, I don't know. That is not my ballpark, but I do think it will handle it very well. I even think it will handle emulators, which I haven't tried on this phone. I should have, but I don't have the time to be sitting here playing games, and I don't want to just do it for the video. I give 100% honest reviews, and I do think this is a great phone. I think, it has mentioned before, OnePlus have a win-win-win with this phone. Now, again, you can pick this phone up from Metro and T-Mobile, and you can also get it straight from OnePlus, which is what I did. And yeah, it's been very, very good. Now that's it for the video. I'm Drew once again. Please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave your comments down below. And I'll see you guys on the next video. And this is Stuttering Tech. Peace.